This presentation is all about adjectives. The best thing about adjectives is that they help us describe the world around us. Take a look at this picture. What are some words you can think of to describe these items? Colorful, bright, fragile, useful. You could also describe each item by color. Red, yellow, green, blue, all the colors are adjectives. You could also describe them using numbers. There is 1 yellow bottle. There are 4 red bottles. This one is the 7th bottle. This is the 13th bottle, and so on. Now let's take a look at another picture. Here we have a bird called an egret. What are some words you would use to describe it? White, tall, skinny, aquatic. These are all adjectives. Now let's do something a little bit different. Let's compare this egret with another bird, a sparrow. Remember the words we used to describe the egret. Now we're going to put them in a sentence that will compare the egret to the sparrow. For example, the egret is blank than the sparrow. If we want to use tall, you might want to say the egret is taller than the sparrow. You could also say the egret is whiter than the sparrow. The egret is skinnier than the sparrow, and the egret is aquaticer than the sparrow. Wait, aquaticer? That's not a word. You try to trick me. Okay, so adding ER doesn't always work when you're comparing. Some adjectives, especially if they're more than 1 or 2 syllables, use a different way to compare. They actually use an adverb. In this case, you would say the egret is more aquatic than the sparrow. So just as a rule of thumb, remember that the short adjective like tall, white, and skinny can be used with ER to compare. But if it's a longer adjective, more than likely you'll have to use an adverb before the adjective. Now let's make a comparison between 3 things. Here we have 3 elephants, and it looks like a family of elephants. So let's call this one on the left the daddy elephant, this one on the right the mommy elephant, and here at the bottom we have the baby elephant. If we're going to compare these elephants, here's something that we might do. We might begin by stating that the daddy elephant is large. Then we could say the mommy elephant is larger than the baby elephant. Now we're comparing between 2 things. We could also say that the daddy elephant is the largest one of all. This technique also works the other way. The baby elephant is small. The mommy elephant is smaller than the daddy elephant, but the baby elephant is the smallest one of all. Remember that ER is used when you're comparing 2 things, and EST is when you're comparing more than 2 things. Now let's take a look at some different adjectives. In this picture we have 3 different food items, and you'll notice that they range in their nutritional value. If we're going to compare these 3 items, we might start by saying that the salad is nutritious. We wouldn't say that the hamburger is nutritiouser than the ice cream, because nutritious is too long of an adjective. Instead, we would say the hamburger is more nutritious than ice cream. We could also say the salad is the most nutritious option in this picture. Remember that when you're comparing 2 things, you would use more, but when you're comparing more than 2 things, you can use the word most. It also works the other way. The salad is still nutritious. The hamburger is less nutritious than the salad, and ice cream is the least nutritious option in this picture. I hope you've gotten a better understanding of adjectives.